Hi, I'm Daniel A.M. Rosenberg, co-creator, co-writer, and director of The Ninth. So yeah, this is the first kind of series that I wrote with Michael and directed. Before this, did some improv comedy as well as like lots of music videos. But yeah, this was the first kind of comedy that I co-created and wrote with Mike and then directed. I love comedy. I came into it maybe a little bit by accident. Like I wasn't always writing jokes or making comedy movies, but I really love comedy. Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows of all time. This is not Seinfeld, and I don't think I would ever do Seinfeld, but that sense of humor, I love sarcasm, I love comedy that hangs out a little bit under the surface. I like comedy when it plays into drama, so I think the Ninth can kind of lead into a lot of more scripted comedy like that. Something with some crime and some drama would be great too. I often like to work in some parameters. I find that when I'm developing something, I like to give myself some rules to it. And so one of the rules for ours was, okay, less than 15 minutes an episode. And from there, we worked on the concepts and we worked on the structure, and then it was about kind of filling that. But we also were lucky. Working with the CBC was an incredible experience. They were so supportive, and we were really lucky that we did development first, and in developing the show, we had the time to explore all the different avenues, and we were able to write without thinking about, oh, how exactly would we shoot this? How exactly would it be put together? We knew, it's a show about nine people. It's a show about a baseball team. We know it's a comedy. How do we want to put it together? Since I was like a child, I really liked making movies, making films, and in high school, I was into that. University, I knew was what I wanted to do. So even at a really young age, I was like making movies. They were not very good, but they made them. And yeah, it's kind of been something I've been doing a really long time, both kind of creating and directing and writing. And yeah, it's like always been a part of me, always been something I've been working on. Worked in the Canadian film and kind of television industry for like 10 years, working like all the way up from a production assistant to a camera assistant to a digital technician, all the while working on my own stuff. And so this was like a progression, a part of that. I would say I consider myself most as a director. With that comes the vision of the show. I love writing and love collaborating with Michael Goldlist. Like he's an incredible artist himself, an amazing writer, great collaborator. So him and I working together, writing the show was amazing. And when we were first writing it, we didn't know if we would actually make the show. So, at that point, it wasn't looking at it as much as a director, but more as just a creator with Michael. And yeah, I can't say enough great things about Michael. I'm sure I'll say them later, but I have a lot of really great things to say about Michael. A director's only as good as the crew around them, and the people that we have on our team are amazing. So that gave us a great starting point, and then bring this amazing cast into it, incredible performers, all of them amazing on their own right, but then the ability to work together as an ensemble. It just had like all the bits, all the feelings, you could feel the magic on set every day, and that's the dream as a director, especially like speaking purely as a director, coming on to set and working with that crew and that team and those actors was a dream come true for me. So that, I can't say enough about how great an experience that was. I prepare a lot. The amount of preparation from taking the scripts and breaking them down, really getting into the characters, and then all the meetings with the heads of the departments, and myself when I come on to set every day, I know exactly the plan, I know exactly what I want to do, and then from there you have the ability to throw that away. But if you don't have a great plan going in, you have nothing to throw away when the wheels fall off, and then you're literally like drowning. I've seen it on other sets before where things go wrong and the director is just standing there like afraid with their head cut off. If you have a great plan, you can deviate from the plan. And when you're talking like what's something crazy that happens on set, some of the magic, some of the best moments in things that I've done have happened when things aren't totally going right, but you're able to then take that energy and focus it into something unique and creative and interesting. But without a good plan, you can't do that. This is the thing I often say, and I don't know if it'd be too cliche, but when I started out, I worked as a director's assistant, so I was helping out a director on a feature film. Some advice he gave me, and I truly believe this, is that you know, my job as a director is to inspire and enable the people around me to do the best job that they can, and I truly believe that. So I'm every day trying to inspire the crew, inspire the cast to do their best work, and when they do their best work, it's very easy for me to make it look good and sound good and feel good. So that's like, I'm not worrying about me, I'm worrying about everybody else first, because that ultimately is what makes the best final product. I mean, I knew a lot of our cast before we cast them in the show. They have all been around a long time, done some amazing work, but I don't know, when you're confident in what you're doing, I don't think you really get nervous about that stuff. I think I already said it, but like, working with Michael Goldlist was amazing. Mike and I have known each other a really long time, as friends first, and then working together. I worked with him first as an actor, and then we started to kind of create things together, write together, worked on some stuff that Mike wrote that I directed, things that we produced together, and he's the best. We butt heads sometimes, Mike and I, and we force each other to fight for what we think is best. We don't always agree, but I think that in pushing each other, we ultimately get the best result. So I think we have a good relationship. You can talk to my wife, she might say that it's very toxic because we often yell at each other, but I think it's still worth it. Michael and I went to Hebrew school together. On Sundays we would go to Hebrew school, and then I didn't see him kind of all through university, and then towards the end of university we actually worked together on a project. He was in a music video I directed, and then from then we started working together, and we've been working together for years and years now, and it's been great. We have a very good working relationship as well as friendship. When Mike and I were creating the show, we met a lot, and we figured out together what it should look and feel like and what that vision is. And then on set, it's my job to communicate that vision. And all these other people are doing the best job that they can, but a very specific job. So it's also my role as the director to then take all of that and lead it to the same vision, to captain that ship, make sure we're all moving in the same direction, going to the same place. So it's a real honor to be the one to carry the vision through. And, you know, working with Michael, like having that trust in each other, you know, we talk about how on the set, you know, we would just look at each other and we would know, you know, like that comes from knowing Michael so long that we're able to just look in each other's eyes and know if it's working or not working, and then you move people along that way. One thing I really liked developing with Mike, and one thing that we did with the show, was that, you know, the last play of the game sets the tone thematically for the rest of the episode. The whole episode takes place in one night, and what happens in the last play of the game is then tied to the rest of the episode. So in the second episode, when No Name strikes out, we then see the guys are striking out hitting on a girl. JB strikes out trying to hit on Chip. There's all these like moments, and it's not crucial to understand that necessarily when you watch the show, but it's a great like Easter egg, it's a great nugget that you can get more or less of. And if you watch, everything in the episode is built around that per episode. So it gave us, it was really fun to write to that, to come up with what are these baseball plays that can then transfer to life. You know, in the episode when JB balks pitching, it's like, you know, balks with the scorpion and balks with the stuff with Jess and Claire, and that was something I really liked doing in the show from a writing standpoint. As a kid, I was always making movies. I knew it was something I wanted to do. In university, I studied documentary. In high school, I made movies with my friends. And then out of school, I was starting to make music videos and really enjoyed the short form of that, the ability to tell a short story, short amount of time. Already had a soundtrack built in, and that was a lot of fun. So I got to make some really cool projects with that. And I found that I was starting to gear the music videos more to narratives. They weren't just like performances, they was trying to tell a story. So as I started to do that more, I got really into more scripted stuff. So this has been a natural progression and something I really wanted to do, and something Michael and I had been talking about for a long time, is working on something scripted together, scripted comedy. So we sat down and worked on this and came up with the concept together and wrote it together. And Mike's an incredible writer, and he has such a gift for dialogue and such a gift for characters. So working with him was amazing. So we did all that, and then once we kind of had the formation of the story, I was able to then kind of switch my head into it as a director and look at the vision of the show and how we would tell that story. So that was kind of how it progressed and how I'm kind of progressing, I guess you'd say. I guess, like, who are you inspired by is a tough question, because then you start to be compared to the person or persons that you say. But I'm inspired by good art, good filmmaking, good television. There's so much good stuff out there right now. Both like in the past, it used to be like, oh, it's a TV show, it's like not as good as a movie. Now we're in what they say is like the golden age of content. It's not even like TV or film or where you watch it, what you watch it on. So I'm inspired by good writing, good direction, good art direction, good cinematography, I'm inspired by good storytelling. That's what I would say. Starting out, especially like when I was doing music videos, like Spike Jonze, Michel Gondry were huge influences. I love the Coen brothers, John Landis. I love like the classic comedy directors, as well as the like new wave of directors and writers who have come from kind of short form, whether it's like music video or TV, who are now doing longer form. So yeah, if it's good and it makes me laugh, or suspense engages you, that's what I'm into. One of my first jobs was as like a production assistant in commercials. So a lot of that is like taking out the garbage and driving trucks around and doing like whatever needs to be done to keep the wheels in motion. It's part of the production team. Learned a lot, was able to be on some big sets and help out and see what the different departments do. I think as a director, it's really important to understand all the different roles on a set. When I don't have the intimate knowledge of like a technician and a gaffer or something like that, but when you understand what everyone's supposed to do, you can appreciate it more. You can understand how much time they need, and it gives you an ability to like respect and work with people in a way that I think is important. So having that kind of foundation of starting at the bottom, I think was important for where I am now. Dream projects, that's a tough one. I want to continue to do longer form scripted comedy, as well as actually like thrillers. I'm a big feature film thriller fan, and although The Ninth is comedy and very far from that kind of content, I love a good crime thriller. I love something that's like seedy and gritty, and I think the best films like that have an element of comedy. So I see this kind of blending together. So I'd love to do like half-hour comedy television, as well as like feature films. The lines between like feature length and TV is constantly blurring now. So like you watch stuff on Netflix, you watch stuff on CBC, it's 45 minutes long. Is that a TV show? Is that like a film? So I think it's more, what I want to do more of is longer form scripted comedy, as well as drama. The dream is also just to do The Ninth. We want to do a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, seventh, eighth, probably a ninth season, and then end there. Maybe that would be it. We'll do 9 seasons of The Ninth. And it'd be great if it got longer as it went too. But right now I'd be happy to do The Ninth over and over again. Season 2, I think you'd see a lot of, you'd see the characters like develop and grow. You know, would Corteon, who plays Chip, you know, does he come back to the team? Is he different? Has his life totally fallen apart, or is he, you know, is he coming back to try to save the team? So there's that, and there's like you talk about like there's the opposing teams. Maybe we get to know the opposing teams a little more. The Pills, who are sponsored by a pharmaceutical team, and so the Box Springs like to play with them because they have access to all the best drugs, the experimental drugs. So there's that, as well as there's like the Bizarro team situation where there's like the opposite characters on the other teams, a la Bizarro Jerry and Seinfeld. So yeah, we've had a ton of fun already writing the second season and coming up with ideas for that. I think it would be, you know, just as edgy, just as crazy, but we would get even more into some of these relationships. You know, you start to get to know Chip, you get, you know, Cash, like what happens with his life, right? Does he totally abandon cricket, or does he try to make another go for it? There's a lot of angles here, and we are experimenting with them right now. But you'd see some good believe me, that. I think the CBC is doing great work right now as well. Schitt's Creek, I think it's a great show. Kim's Convenience is really smart, well written. You know, Working Moms. There's a whole bunch on that roster that is really doing great work. Incredible talent, like from writing, directing, and on-screen actors. Like we have a lot, and CBC is doing a lot with that. So we're really lucky to be a part of that team, I'd say. You should definitely watch the 9th on CBC Gem. I'm gonna watch it. I've seen it a million times, probably more than anyone else has ever seen it. Maybe tied with Michael and Mika, our editor, but I'm still gonna watch it. You should definitely watch it. It's funny, it's good. If you like this video, you'd probably like some of these videos too. And don't forget to check out the 9th on CBC Gem.